Welcome back. So glad to have you with us. I'm Christy Paul.
I'm Victor Blackwell. Always good to be with you.
Well, let's talk about this new poll this morning showing Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump statistically in a tie right now. The brand new Washington Post ABC News poll does have Clinton ahead of Trump by just 4 points, but that is within the margin of error.
The poll is released as another woman now comes forward to say that Donald Trump kissed her without consent. This was nearly 20 years ago. The woman's name, Kathy Heller. She is the 9th Trump accuser. But the Trump campaign says there is no way her account is true. Now, meanwhile, Trump is not backing down from his claims that this election is rigged. He's also now suggesting that Hillary Clinton is on drugs.
We should take a drug test prior, because I don't know what's going on with her.
In the meantime, Hillary Clinton's campaign may have some new questions to answer about her email scandal. WikiLeaks released more of her campaign's hacked emails, including what appears to be transcripts of 3 paid speeches to Goldman Sachs. It's important to note here, CNN has not independently verified the authenticity of these emails. But let's talk to A. Scott Bolden, former chairman of the Washington, D.C. Democratic Party and a Hillary Clinton supporter, and Stacey Washington, a Republican talk show host and Donald Trump supporter. Thank you both for sticking around. We appreciate it.
Good morning, Christy.
Good morning to you. All right, I want to get to good morning. One of these elements that was released by WikiLeaks on October 2013. There was an implication that action was necessary to curb Wall Street abuses for, quote, political reasons. I want to read to you what part of this shows. In one of her speeches, Hillary Clinton allegedly said there was also a need to do something because for political reasons, if you were an elected member of Congress and people in your constituency were losing jobs and shutting businesses and everybody in the press is saying it's all the fault of Wall Street, you can't sit idly by and do nothing. So, Scott, is the implication here that Wall Street wasn't necessarily doing anything wrong, but for political reasons you needed to make some changes?
Well, only the Republicans would say that. Let's be real clear. I condemn, and all of us, including Donald Trump and his supporters, ought to condemn these WikiLeaks that we have tied, the government is tied to Russia. So we can't confirm it in any event. But let me be real clear. For political reasons in Congress and in this country, absolutely. Constituents are hurting. They vote for their elected representatives, and something had to be done. Now, that's only one part of it. The other part is the substantive housing crisis and people like Donald Trump betting on the housing crisis in order to generate more money and to create new products on Wall Street that harm the middle class and the working class and home ownership. Absolutely. That's part of the political process, but that's also an important economic deal that needed to be fixed, and it certainly was.
Stacey, what's your reaction?
Hey, it's an admission that she has 2 policy positions. One, when she's with her friends on Wall Street, who are huge donors to her campaign, and they paid her millions of dollars in fees to come and speak to them privately, and she didn't want this stuff released. She was asked for the transcripts of these speeches. She didn't let them out. And so now we have WikiLeaks coming out with these. The idea that somehow Trump is connected to it is a deflection. Hillary Clinton should come out and talk about the substance of these speeches. She should apologize. If you have 2 positions, one in private and one in public, it means you're a liar. It's duplicity, and I think she should address it on television.
But, Christy, there's nothing lying going on between Hillary Clinton and her speeches. In fact, a CNN report I just read said, well, by and large, her public position is consistent with what she said to Wall Street. The danger is these leaks give you but one focus or one angle on many things that she said publicly versus privately, and they, by and large, are the same. And by the way, why hasn't WikiLeaks hacked into Donald Trump's campaign and released those? Because WikiLeaks wants him to win, and we know we've leaked WikiLeaks to the Russians, hackers, and Putin. Now, that is a problem, and that's something that Donald Trump and his supporters ought to condemn, much like many Democrats have. We're not going to confirm it, but the good thing is when you look into the Clinton deliberation process, it is completely consistent with her public process and what her private positions have been. They're one and the same, and you can't deny that.
Stacey?
It's consistent because she's lied to the American public before about her emails, about her time as Secretary of State.
And she's apologized about that. It's a dead horse.
Okay, listen.
You can talk all you want while I'm talking, but it's actually rude to do that. And it's like, that you don't respect me and you don't think I deserve time here on CNN to express my opinion.
That's certainly not the case. I was just correcting you.
Look, the point isn't that you can correct me here. The point is that now that the sunlight has been shined on what Hillary Clinton believes, on her private conversations with Wall Street that she didn't want anybody to know about, now you're deflecting to Donald Trump, the Russians, and talking about how these things may or may not be substantiated. They're not substantiated beyond the fact that they're hacked information. And the American people have a right to know what the next president of the United States, according to you, feels about Wall Street and all of these other topics that she spoke on while she was paid by these same organizations. So you can talk about the Russians, you can talk about hack this, hack that, you can blame Donald Trump, but the American people deserve answers. And it's not Republican this, it's not the fault of the Republicans that she made these speeches. Republicans didn't write these speeches for her. She wrote them along with her speechwriters. These are her words. She should talk about them.
Scott, you have the last word here.
Real quick, the bottom line is this. Is there any inconsistency whatsoever between what she said in her speeches, if these are accurate, or what she said publicly? And everyone who looks at this is looking for the big bombshell. There isn't. They were completely consistent. And you can say it over and over again, Stacey, but that doesn't make it true. You sound like Donald Trump, and he's inaccurate most of the time in his pronouncements.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we
interrupted me now.
I'm sorry, guys. We ran out of time, and we're out of time. And I always appreciate the passionate conversation, though. Thank you both, Scott Bolden, Stacey Washington.
For having me on.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.